So, hi guys, welcome to the Business and Remote Work podcast brought to you by Wishup. I'm your host Crispino, and today we have with us for the very first time our virtual assistant from America, Rosalie Patrone. So, welcome to the show, Rosalie. It's great to have you here with us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Crispino. I appreciate you having me today.
How is your day going? How have you been today?
So far, so good. I had a couple of meetings this morning and got myself prepared to get on the podcast with you today. I always give everybody a quick warning that my little one is in the background sometimes. So if you hear my cheering section, that's what that is.
Your little one can join us on the podcast.
Right? Maybe she'll get to at some point.
Awesome. Amazing. Great. So, how long have you been working with Wishup, Rosalie?
I've been with Wishup since November of 2022. So a little over a year and some change now.
Nice. So just to start off the podcast, could you tell us a bit about yourself and your role here at Wishup?
Sure. I have a pretty diverse background. I actually got my start after finishing a master's degree in animal science and reproduction, working in the agriculture industry in the United States, and then wound up making a pretty large pivot at one point for personal reasons into the virtual assistant space, as well as into the real estate space. Somebody needed some help increasing the volume and the production efficiency with their sales pipeline for a loan officer. And I'd never done anything like it before. I'd never even worked from home before. But I was definitely open to the idea of a big change like that. And so I wound up joining her team, and we tripled her pipeline volume within a few years. And I wound up getting myself licensed as well to be a loan officer. And then I saw the opportunity to join Wishup. I think it was like remote.co or one of those websites that posts remote positions for people who are looking. And I applied, and the rest is history, I guess.
Here you are. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Amazing. So how was your transition working from office or working from the place to working remotely? Like, how was your transition?
It was a very welcomed one, honestly. I will say that there were some challenges when I initially joined because of where I was located. I was living in a place that didn't have great cell signal, and it was more difficult to get internet service. So there was a little bit of a learning curve there with getting some of the technology stuff straightened out. But once I got to make that pivot, honestly, I've told a lot of people, like, it would be really hard to pay me enough to go back to having to like do the commute thing every single day and be in an office or something, unless I absolutely had to be. I really enjoy the work from home model for sure.
True. It is amazing, right? Yeah, you got so much time to spend with your family. You just don't have you save time on commute, you save the expenses on commute. It's just so much better.
Absolutely. And if you're having one of those days, like even if you're having a day where maybe you're feeling a little bit under the weather and it wouldn't have been something that I would have been able to do the farm work for, I can still show up to a job like this and get work done and have the flexibility to maybe not have to miss hours or miss pay because of something small that would get in the way.
Absolutely. So how has your journey been with Wishup? Little over a year, and you've taken up many different roles at Wishup. So how has your journey been at Wishup so far?
The little one is just arrived here. So the journey at Wishup has been an incredible one so far. When I initially joined, I didn't exactly know what I was getting myself into. I've never worked for a company that wasn't based in the United States, nor for a virtual assistant company specifically. Just I've done the virtual assistant role before. And so when I got assigned to the internal team, it was obviously a little bit different than what I initially anticipated when I joined Wishup for what might happen or who I might be assigned to. But I really loved the opportunity to get assigned with the internal team because it gave me the opportunity to learn about a company and a culture that I had never been exposed to before in the way that I've been exposed at Wishup. And so I've gotten to serve in a role where it initially just started out as a kind of an administrative assistant when it came to just helping out the sales team within Wishup. And then it really expanded from there into helping with some of the marketing materials, as well as helping with the training team and even some of the internal like team building exercises and things that we do, like our TGIF and our star recognition calls that we use to help kind of boost morale and build community. So I've gotten to put my hand in a lot of different pots. And I'm the type of person where I don't want to keep doing the exact same thing over and over and over. I need variety, and this role has really allowed me to get the variety that I need to keep my brain motivated.
That's amazing. I think we saw so much potential in you. We didn't want to let you go to clients. We decided to keep you back for ourselves.
Fair enough.
Awesome. So you're into so many different things, Rosalie, like what you just said, training, sales, admin. How do you manage your time?
Honestly, it's when I would say it started back in grad school and just progressed its way forward, but I've always been used to having to deal with a relatively dynamic schedule. But especially here at Wishup, I've set up a lot of the technology elements to help streamline that process for me so that I'm not getting double booked on things on a regular basis. Things like Calendly, syncing up with my calendar and not allowing people to schedule appointments when I've already got appointments scheduled. It's been a lifesaver for me. And the other element of things is, as I've learned how long certain tasks should take me, once I've done some trial and error on what some of the stopping points might be or distraction points might be, I can either increase the efficiency by eliminating some of those stop points, or I'm also able to understand that maybe I need to build a buffer into my schedule around certain activities so I can anticipate how long they'll take and I don't cause myself to be overextending anyway.
Makes sense.
And some of it really is, communication heavy when it comes to working with the internal team as well. They're very flexible when it comes to modifying certain points of the schedule because they understand that we all kind of have different time zones and different, requirements on our plate. And you guys have been so helpful in being flexible with me on those things as well.
That's amazing. Nice to hear that. So with remote work, I know we already spoke about the challenges with the network, but what would you say are your top 3 challenges that you face with remote work so far?
I would say one of them, I think I touched on earlier, is depending on where you live, whether there's decent signal and the ability to link into a decent internet connection can definitely provide some challenges. I would say another one that I've definitely faced is making sure that I am actually logging out at a decent hour. So I think the temptation to maybe stay in the work a little bit longer is higher when you can't clock out and physically leave somewhere and leave the work behind. And I'll find myself getting hyper-focused into a task, and then all of a sudden it's like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. I've definitely been able to recognize that could create some challenges and pull back on that a little bit and find different ways to keep the hyper focus. That can be a tomorrow thing, and being able to let go of certain things. I would say that's a piece of it.
Nice.
And I guess a third element would definitely be with some of the things that I have to do. If there's a personal issue with my actual laptop itself, having to kind of supply my own materials for those things. Of course, technology loves to glitch at the most inconvenient moments. And so having to kind of deal with those situations when you don't have just like a team that you can go into somebody's office and say, hey, I'm having trouble. You kind of have to learn how to troubleshoot things on your own. But that's more of a learning opportunity than I think a challenge at the end.
That's a nice perspective. Yes. Awesome. So moving from the challenges, Rosalie, what would you say are the most satisfying aspects of your job?
I would definitely say the ability to be able to have the flexibility in my schedule that a lot of people are not going to be able to have, especially if I have, like, my daughter is in things like occupational therapy, or I have a doctor's appointment or a vet visit. Most people would have to schedule big chunks or take an entire day off of work, where for me, I can literally pop out, do what I need to do, and come right back to it because I'm not having to navigate a commute or things like that with the work situation if I were not be working remotely. Another part of working at Wishup, I think, that is going to keep me here for the long haul is the community and the culture of the people and the company. I've been so embraced, especially as an American, by the buy the special things, because you guys make it a really important part of celebrating your culture within the company, with the different holidays and different activities that you guys will do. And I have been nothing but embraced and included in those things. And that I love to learn about new cultures and about people. It's just something that I find fascinating. When I worked in agriculture, I was working with a lot of people from Latin America and South America. And getting that exposure, it makes you feel more connected to the world. And it opens your eyes to new perspectives that you would have never gotten before. And I love that about Wishup.
True. So what would you say so far is your favorite Indian festival of them all? We have so many.
I know. Diwali was the one that I was able to participate in a little bit more so, at least this year. And I absolutely loved it. I loved that we got to do like a little crafting hour. And I mean, everybody was just in such high spirits. And I mean, you guys really made the most of it. I've never seen a company be able to really, especially in a remote setup where we can't physically be with each other, to find a way to be so celebratory together. I really enjoyed that celebration.
I think a big shout out. I think a big shout out goes out to Deep for that. He really managed the whole event really well.
Absolutely, he did a great job.
Rosalie, if you ever get a chance to come to India, watch out for Holi. It happens in Feb or March, not sure, but it's the festival of colors. That's when you throw colors on everyone, and it's like a beautiful festival. So if you ever get a chance to come to India, you should try out Holi.
I will, absolutely. Maybe I'll make it like a 3-month stint. Maybe I'll do like a good chunk so I can get Diwali in there. I can get Holi in there.
Diwali is in October, November, right?
Just do the end of winter.
Perfect time, yes. And it's not as cold over here as well, so you'll enjoy a good, pleasant climate.
True.
Awesome. So, Rosalie, how do you manage? Like, you're a mom, so how do you manage the pressures and responsibility of parenting along with working remotely? How difficult or how easy is that for you?
I would say as my daughter has gotten older, the challenges have gotten more challenging because obviously the level of enrichment and interaction that she needs with me changes, and she is here with me full time while I work. Unfortunately, and I think people all over the world can kind of understand that sometimes finding childcare is a difficult task, and in the United States especially, it is just extremely expensive, especially to have a child who has special needs. So one of the things that I do is I try to establish some routine in my life around how her and I will interact throughout the day to make sure that she's getting the enrichment and the attention she needs from me. Here she is. It's also being able to work for a company that wants to see my kid on the camera more than they want to see me, frankly. You guys have been...
She could say hi to us. Is she around?
Come here, bro. She's standing over there right now. She might come over in a second. But you guys have been just so receptive to her being a part of the process. She's almost become like a little mascot on our TGIF calls. I think that's extremely important.
I've seen a few.
And to have a company that supports working parents. But on the other end of things, to be honest with you, there is no other option, right? You have to adapt and overcome. When it comes to your kids, you're going to do what it takes. And that's the setup we have here. She's my little buddy, and we take it as it comes.
Awesome. That's amazing. So Rosalie, with remote work being embraced so much, like you love it, I love it, we all love it. What do you think is the future of remote work? Where do you see remote work in the next 5 years?
Honestly, I think we're going to continue to see it trending up. I know that I'm seeing some resistance from some of the people in the United States or higher level corporations who are trying to get people to come back into the office. But I think part of that has to do with the fact that they've invested in brick and mortar real estate, and they want to make sure that they're not kind of wasting money on that brick and mortar real estate. Right. And I think it's just requiring a shift from a traditional mindset to a more progressive mindset when it comes to the fact that all the data shows us that remote work does not contribute to a decline in productivity. If anything, it boosts productivity. And I think at some point they're going to realize that the ROI on allowing people to work from home is just, I think we've gotten to a point also where people realize that like there are so many options for it that companies are going to be in a way forced to face the music that times have changed, and that if we've got the technology to be able to do it, it is saving people so much money and time. They're able to dedicate it to their families. It's become a really big priority for people in the workforce looking for a job. And so they're going to have to meet the demands of the workforce if they want to keep people employed. So I think we're going to see it continue to rise.
That's right. I do think the same. And given, although like many companies right now are laying off people who don't want to work remotely, but I think, yeah, you're right. Eventually, when they realize the ROI is better, they're going to make the shift. Yeah. Awesome, Rosalie. So let's move to the next segment of this podcast, that is the rapid fire round. Okay. So in this round, I'll be asking you a few questions, and for which you have to answer them immediately. All right. So no taking time thinking, just rapid fire.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right. Awesome. Let's get started. So since you're already nursing a young one, what's your favorite nursery rhyme?
Old MacDonald.
Old MacDonald. I thought you'd say Baby Shark, but okay, that's a nice one as well.
No, that one stresses me out. If that one gets stuck in your brain and never goes away, I need something that can just go away if we need it. See, now it's going to be stuck in my head for the rest of the day. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, your favorite task to tackle, Rosalie?
Task to tackle. I'd say doing the SOW calls that I have to take. I love talking to people, and especially new people. I like to get to know personalities, and it gives me a chance to talk to strangers, and I enjoy that.
That's amazing. Nilesh would love that. One productivity hack.
Definitely being willing to acknowledge your limits and use those limits to delegate tasks to your limits and to your role, so that you don't overextend yourself. I think long term, that's the best solution.
Makes sense. Totally. One tool you cannot live without?
Definitely my Wishup, my Gmail calendar. I don't think I would survive without a digital calendar there to just remind me how my day is supposed to go.
All right, awesome. Favorite conspiracy theory?
One more time?
Favorite conspiracy theory?
Oh, favorite conspiracy theory?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, there's so many. Isn't that
number
weird?
one. The number one that you're on board
on. I think it's hilarious that people think that Elvis is not dead.
Yeah, I've heard of that one too. Yes.
They think that he's like off somewhere, like in witness protection or something. I think that's a hilarious one. I don't believe it, but I think it's one of my favorite ones that people will say.
Nice, amazing. If you could have one superpower to help you with your tasks, what would it be?
One superpower, time travel. Good. So you can kind of be like, oh, well, I need an extra 30 minutes. Let's just back it up and go back in.
Easy. Love it. Awesome. Rosalie, that was an amazing round of rapid fire. You did really well. Thank you so much.
I'm a little nervous. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Awesome. So Rosalie, it was amazing connecting with you. I really had a fun chat for the past 20 minutes. And I think you're on the right track with Wishup, and you have all the right ideas in mind. And we do see a great future with you as well as the part of the Wishup team. So just before I let you go, any message to all the maybe parents out there who are looking to work remotely? Anything that you'd like to suggest to them?
I would definitely suggest that you open your mind to the possibility if you haven't considered it yet. They're just the ability that I've had to be more present in my daughter's life is something that especially during such the first few years of her life are so critical. I think I would have never been able to have this type of hands-on approach with my kid and be able to learn and grow with her at the rate that I have. Because we all have learning and growing to do. I think we've both been able to develop at a better pace and develop a better relationship because I've been able to be more present with her. And I wouldn't trade that for anything. So I definitely recommend, if you're able to do it, to definitely consider it. It's got so many different rewarding elements.
Awesome. That's amazing, Rosalie. Thank you so much for your time today with us. It was amazing chatting with you. And we hope to have many more podcasts with you in the future as well.
Yeah, it's been great, Crispino. It was great talking to you. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thank you.